The generation that was fully on the plantation of, I guess I got to do my corporate job and because that's what men do. And those men never stopped, like the boomer men, et cetera, and older. They never stopped to say, but why? But why? Why am I giving my whole self to this job? For what? To please the missus? To keep up with the Joneses? I don't give it. This is what men today are like, I don't give a crap about the Joneses, and there are no misses out here. And furthermore, if I have a missus who's all demanding like that, maybe I don't want a missus. Because that's not a real wife. It's just not. It's not. She might be married to you. She may have said, I do, and all that stuff, but that's not a wife. A wife adds value and doesn't care about the stupid Joneses, right? She doesn't. She cares about you. That is what it should be. And men are done. They're done putting up with scraps. They're done with being the work mules.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP Experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for being here for another one of my videos. Today's video is going to be about why a lot of good and decent men are at that point that they are opting out of society, even relationships, especially in the West. Now, that's not to say that men are not trying to take care of themselves or provide for their family. But if they had a rude awakening with a divorce, or they are trying to get into a relationship and is seeing daily online the high expectations that a lot of women have, and those are the women that are bold enough to come online and say that particular thing. I happen to have a lot of women in my friends list because I was a photographer at one time. And while it's bad when women do say negative stuff about men, I always go to the comment section. And when the comment section is agreeing with them and no woman is telling her like, hey, chill out, that's wrong or something. Now, it's different when men do it. When men say negative stuff about women, you will have other men coming at them, and you will have women coming at them. It's rare, unless if they are in a space where they're just venting to like-minded men. You will not see this thing of them going about unchecked. But I would usually notice when women are online man bashing, most of the people coming into their comment section will be supporting them. And maybe they might be right, but that's not always the case. I have a video here by, I believe the creator's name is Far From Eden. I've seen her videos before, but she's not always in my algorithm. So I happened to come across her, and she did a powerful video that I'm going to react to today and actually add some things to it, because now she's one of the more balanced women that I've come online with. It doesn't seem like she's pandering or just leaning to one side, because she have love for men, but she also tries to convey that there is some women that do get it. So, without further ado, let her speak.
A man can only take so much. A man will only take so much. You can only push him so far. And every man has that line. Every man has a limit. And we are pushing them to that limit, past that limit, more than most of society even realizes it. And the overlords who have wanted this, who have used feminism and used women to break men, because we have the full power of the state, as many of you know, corporations not hiring, basically, you're all evil, you're all this. You guys know, you've lived it. You grew up with it. By now, I mean, a lot of Gen Xers grew up with it. Millennials certainly did. And goodness gracious, Gen Z, then they're either really angry or they hate themselves.
And that is how a lot of men feel now, unfortunately. Because I was raised like that. And see, that's the one positive, but also negative when you raised by a single mom. Because automatically, you, as a man, you get the female perspective. Now, that's good in a way that you won't. Now, it depends, because some men, some boys that's raised by single moms, they end up letting the streets raise them. Now, I'm not sure what their mom did wrong. Maybe they was kind of wild. Maybe there was more extrovert, more about going out, and therefore they picked up a lot of their stuff, because I believe a lot of the thugs and hoodlums are usually raised by single moms, especially in my community. But if you're more of an introvert, like I was, playing video games, watching anime, drawing, that type of stuff when you was growing up, I only had a couple friends that would drag me out the house to play sports and stuff, but most of the time I was more of an inside to myself type of person. Now, under that framework right there, I was able to absorb the female perspective. Growing up, I definitely saw what the men were doing wrong. And in a way, I guess I hated myself to a certain degree. But then, once I saw how terrible women can be, this is the thing. Men that turn to red pill stuff or the man space or this type of content, like me, I didn't turn to it from what other men were saying. I turned to it once I saw how women were bold in speaking online, how much they hate men, or how men, real men, should do this and that and that and this, and you hear nothing of what the woman will do for the man. It's rare that you hear that. And once again, I always go to the comment section, because one person saying something does not contaminate the whole flock. But when you look at most of the women either agreeing and stuff like that, these are people that can be walking around. It's the same way how a man that can be a serial killer can be living right next door to you. You wave and say hi to him every single day. You don't know he has a dark secret. Unless if you get involved in his life, or as a woman, you get in a relationship with him. But, so I look at it the same way with women out here now. I don't know how they think. That's why I have to look at their social media. And if they are spewing man hate stuff, okay, then I have to look at them funny.
So, but this breaking of the men, this calling masculinity toxic and all of that, it's backfiring. It's backfiring big time. Welcome back to Far From Eden. I saw a video yesterday, and it was about mechanics are quitting their jobs. There's a bunch of mechanic jobs open because they're quitting. Apparently, the one of the things they said was, like, the new cars, they're all, you have all these Chinese parts and they're basically computers. And so it takes a long time to diagnose what's wrong, and then you have to fix it. And these are mostly mechanics working at dealerships that the video was on. So I'm not sure about other mechanics, but it's probably similar. So they are given a certain time that, well, this problem should take this amount of time to fix it. So that's the labor hours. So they get paid for those labor hours. The problem is it takes twice that amount of time because you have to diagnose it, right? So, sorry, Lola gets this way around this time of the afternoon. So the camera will have earthquakes. But anyway, so they only get paid the amount of time that it's supposed to take to fix it. They don't get paid for that time that, it took to diagnose it. Not to mention, if you're a new mechanic, like you just got out of school to learn to be a mechanic, which a lot of times you're going to have debt. It never occurred to me. Yeah, of course you can have debt from trade school. They're not free. So you have all this debt, and then you get hired as a brand new mechanic for like $19. $19 an hour. You get paid more to clean houses.
Wow. $19 an hour. I thought they start off with more than that. Okay. I mean, because you got to pay back the tuition. We'll come back to that a little later. And with housekeeping, you can make more money than that. Really? Only thing, when you're freelancing, you can always play with the prices. So that's a little bit of thing too. And then that job can be sporadic. But getting back, could this be a gender pay gap right here?
Women who clean houses, like on the side or whatever, they get paid more to clean our houses. I was just looking for a new person to come and clean my apartment, right? She's cheap. I'm so happy. I was so happy because I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cheap, especially for my area. As you guys know, I moved up to a bit of a nicer area. She charges $40 an hour. And honestly, it's probably going to be cash, right? $40 an hour. That's twice what those mechanics are making coming out of school. Mechanic work is hard. Why am I on and on about mechanics? Because it is a microcosm of more of it, right? Think about these jobs that men do. We need mechanics. I can't fix my car. And she's a 2002 Honda Accord. She needs fixing from time to time. I can't do it. What happens when they all leave? And what happens when other jobs like that men do? Sometimes you have heavy stuff you've got. It's hard work. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Plus, they are responsible for buying their own tools.
Oh, yeah. They got to buy their own tools, too. Damn. Okay, so they have to pay that tuition back because I'm pretty sure they have to take a loan. I don't know how much it is. You got to pay that back. You have to buy your own tools. And you start off with $19 an hour, especially with this economy. And look, if this was, I guess, in the 80s or the 70s or something, where most people were just making $5 an hour, then maybe $19 an hour starting off is like, whoo, that's something else. Damn, that's funny. I make as much, I make more than a mechanic that just came out of school. That's crazy. Damn.
What in the world? I have a couple things to say about this. I asked a couple men about this. I told them about the mechanic stuff. I was like, what? But I also said, okay, well, yeah, but you still have to eat. So if you're leaving your mechanic job, what are you going to do now? And one guy that I asked very astutely pointed out, you see, Aaron, men can downsize their lifestyles.
And that's one advantage that a single man has over a man that's married or in a relationship. He can downsize his life. Okay, because I know after my divorce, it took roughly maybe, I'm pretty sure it's different for different dudes, but it was adjustment. It took a good 5 to 10 years to get back to normal. Well, okay, maybe not exactly 10 years. I'll say 5. It took me about 5, but for me to totally be straight, it took almost 10. Anywhere from 6, 7 to 10. It took me to be straight, and that's on top of being paying child support, which I don't mind, by the way, only because you had a kid with the wrong person, and whatever the case may be, it's not the kid's fault. Okay, you have to do something for the kid, whether you like it or not. Now, the amount is up for debate, but I'm not against supporting your child, that responsibility. But moving on. So, as I say, as a single man, I don't have to eat out every weekend. I have to eat out every other day. Whereas when I was in a relationship where she did cook, but I believe we ate out more than she cooked. Okay. Of course, we was both working, so I would cook too. Okay, a lot of times I would definitely cook so that we would not have to eat out. But I understand women have to go out, but when it's crunch time, when hours are being cut, economy's kind of rough, prices are going up, you have to start cutting costs somewhere. And I have to admit, when I'm in a relationship, it's harder to do it because usually I want to spoil and take care of my woman. But see, I need a woman that understands, that can read the room, that can be like, we don't have to do that. I look, are you okay? Your money getting tight? You looked a little stressed out. We don't have to do that this weekend. Matter of fact, we can save up money and do something next month. Okay? That's the kind of woman that you need in your corner. Not one that's like, okay, well, you the man, you need to provide, you need to do something, and yes, that's part of our job. But if your woman is not a real support for you and she's spending your money and all her money, when one thing goes wrong, you're in deep doo-doo. I wouldn't do it again. I'm just saying, I wouldn't do that. That's why I'm single right now. That's why I'm looking for the right woman. Like, I'll go on a date here and there, but it's going to have to be an amazing woman for me to get back in that ring again.
They don't need big fancy houses. They don't need, all this stuff that a lot of the lady folk need. Sorry, treats in my hand for Lola. She's very demanding. And I thought that's true. I mean, you still have to eat, but you can downsize what you're doing. You can fix some things, maybe not so much on the books. I don't know. They're going to do something because men are problem solvers. The generation that was fully on the plantation of, I guess I got to do my corporate job and because that's what men do. And those men never stopped, like the boomer men, et cetera, and older. They never stopped to say, but why? But why? Why am I giving my whole self to this job? For what? To please the missus? To keep up with the Joneses? I don't give it. This is what men today are like, I don't give a crap about the Joneses, and there are no misses out here. And furthermore, if I have a missus who's all demanding like that, maybe I don't want a missus. Because that's not a real wife. It's just not. It's not. She might be married to you. She may have said, I do, and all that stuff, but that's not a wife. A wife adds value and doesn't care about the stupid Joneses, right?
Wow, she gets it. She really gets it. Now, women creators like this, not the ones that's pandering or just saying everything that you want to hear. Not that she's coming at men in any kind of way, but I get from her that she truly understands and she values the male friends that she has in her life. But you got to find a woman that thinks like this. While men are always talking about how to res up a girl, how to approach her, how to play hot and cold to get the woman's attention, how about teaching men, and I'm talking about men that be selling these courses and stuff, how about teaching them how to pick out women that would be good for them? And of course, if you are a player, or you're like Shaq, you got 4 girlfriends, you don't deserve a woman like this. I'm sorry.
She doesn't. She cares about you. That is what it should be. And men are done. They're done putting up with scraps. They're done with being the work mules. These mechanics really, I don't know. Being a woman, I am big into the micro. So seeing these men basically like, we're quitting. It's just no. They're not saying, okay, well, I guess I've got to get paid for, half the labor that I'm doing and get $19 an hour when I just come out of trade school and I've got to buy all my own tools. They're like, no,
I personally think women like this should be valued and should be treated accordingly. Now, of course, though, since as men we always hear that treating a woman good, she's going to treat you bad because deep down she wants to be abused. I'm going to do a separate video about that particular thing. But for a woman that knows herself and knows how to treat a man, those are the women that you need to go for.
Generations before them, if they were put in that position, would not have said no. They didn't say no. They sacrificed themselves. But you know what? Why? Not just because they didn't realize they were being just used primarily by, the state to build the infrastructure, to do the, build society, basically. There was something in it for men. They may have still been the work mules and whatever, but the work mules still got some carrots and some good grain and some yummy hay and, good brushing now and then, But gradually, the work mules, there's no more carrots. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. Why would you get carrots? And we've cut back on the grain. You don't need grain. We're just going to give you this hay, and now the hay has gone downhill. And now you're just an abused work mule.
Parents need to start raising their women on how to be to a man, how to treat him. If he's being good to you, if he's providing for, if he's making you, it seems like it's easier for women to do it automatically if they feel the butterfly feeling or they are feeling that spark that they really feel, then they automatically do it. But I do think it should be a moral thing, because I know a lot of times men, we treat people not exactly all the time how we feel. We have an honor code. I'm talking about the ones of us, even some us that are degenerates, have somewhat of an honor to us or something. So we don't always treat people how we feel. Like, we may not like our boss, but we have to respect our boss in so many words. A lot of times I think women, if they're in a foul mood or either that butterfly feeling is gone, then they will tend to treat the guy any kind of way. So while I am on the thing of getting a woman to have high interest for you, that's still not a long-term strategy, because those feelings can always just shut off one day. But I feel better if she feels sky high about me trying to get on that wild bull again, instead of if she's kind of in that nonchalant, like, type of thing.
And you're breaking free. Because men can only take so much. Men will only take so much. So what does that mean? Mechanics walk off and quit. How long before other people do too? Other men do too? I imagine it's happening already. Actually, I know it's happening already. Men who, figure out a way that, child support is, they're demanding, and it's based on your income and alimony. They're like, well, what if I lose my job? Whoopsie. What is the incentive? There's no incentive anymore. Cracking the whip behind the mule is not incentive. After a point, it's not. There's no incentive. Most men want families. I've talked to you guys. That's the common thread. That is the common thread between all the men I have talked to. Now, I know this is a certain audience. This is not the Andrew Tate audience. But I don't believe that that's most men at all. I don't believe that that's most young men. I think that even men who don't actually know what a real wife should be would want one if they knew. Does that make sense? I will tell you. Here's a real life story. So,
and finishing off, if you want to see what she says, what a real wife is, you should really go over and see her video, like the video, subscribe to her channel. I do think that men that are in this space, you do need to see women like this that are not just bashing, because I know there's good women out there. I don't know if there's enough good women that I will be able to meet one that likes me and I like her and all those variables that go into it. But I know it's good women out there. I just know they are in short supply. I always like mixing it up and also having these types of women on my channel so that you don't get into that rage bait type of thing where a lot of creators may go. But that's not to ignore that there are a lot of bad ones out there. The thing is, it is some good ones. So if you get a good one, do her right. Of course, though, pay attention if her feelings are starting to fade for you, because once her feelings fade, then maybe the deal was off. I had to learn the hard way. It does depend how they feel about you in the moment. And anything that you did in the past does not matter. It matters on what you are doing now, how you are making her feel now. Go see what her definition of what a wife is. Thanks for being here, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
I really feel for the men, like... to McDonald's and then buys me a meal. Amazing. I love McDonald's. Like, what's wrong with that? It's the intention. It's the fact that he made a point and said, hey, I've got this. I want to